You know what I love about photography is that you can be creative in literally any space you want, whether that's your office or a studio or the park outside your house or even your own house. But I get it, sometimes that creativity just runs out and you eventually hit the photographer's equivalent of a writer's block. You run out of things to shoot, or you may not even have any clients on the go anymore and you've got nothing to take pictures or videos of. But nothing is stopping you from creating content in between clients. The more you can add to your portfolio, the better it will be for the people out there trying to hire you. So that's why today I wanted to take you through my full workflow of creating a product shoot right in your own home. You don't need a lot of equipment and you just need the basic, bare understanding of how to light your product correctly and the correct equipment to use. So you're going to want to have complete control over the light in your studio. In my case, I've used blackout curtains which control the daylight that changes over time, but use what you can. Next, you're going to need your product that you're going to be shooting. Obviously, make sure it's in the best condition it can possibly be in. Next, you're going to need your accessories, the things that are going to complement the product in the main shoot. Now, this could be anything that is related to the product or the ingredients of the product, or even just items that complement the product well. Next, your lighting. The lights that will be complementing the product, they could be RGB lights, they could be pure white lights, up to you, but make sure you have a sufficient amount of lighting. And lastly, you're going to need your backdrop. The backdrop is everything. It's what your product will sit on, what will fill up most of the frame. So make sure it's clean and again that it complements the product well. Now the most important part of this is lighting. You need as good lighting as you can possibly get, and as bright as it can possibly be, and as spread out as you can get it. Now I'm going to be using this Godox ML60 light. It's tiny, it's bright, it's BiColour, and it's going to be sufficient enough for the shoot space that I have. Now I don't necessarily have a softbox handy, so I'm going to be using one of these diffusion umbrellas. They do essentially the same trick, maybe not as smooth or as good, but for what I'm using it for, a home product shoot, lighting a tiny little subject, I don't think I'm going to have any issues. Now one light source isn't going to be enough. You're going to need multiple light sources so you can even light around your subject. And I'm going to position these either way around the subject, a bit further out from where the main light is. I want to get these just giving that fill light from quite a distance. Now, the most important thing, the backdrop. These things are pretty much inexpensive. I picked up this backdrop, white sort of foam board for £2.50, so you can get them from pretty much anywhere. Amazon do some great ones, and you can get these in a variety of different colors. Obviously choose what is best for your shoot. I've gone for a white board because the watch that I'm going to be shooting is white and I want that to complement well with the watch. Now the watch that I'm actually shooting is a Seiko, and it's actually called a Baby Snowflake. There's a Grand Seiko called the Snowflake, but this is the Baby Snowflake, and I thought that's the name. I need to do something snow related, so I've chosen this little accessory, Instant Snow. Now whenever you're doing a product shoot, you want to be sure that you've got something which complements the product well. If it's beauty creams and things like that, you want to try and get the ingredients that they've used scattered around the product. Likewise, if it's something that's antique, you want a bit of a rustic look, try and find accessories from any sort of shop or random things lying around your house that complement that product well. I'm going for Instant Snow, and I want to essentially lay the watch in this bed of fake snow when I'm taking the picture. That will give it a nice sort of fluffy texture to the background while still maintaining a sort of whitewash look. Now before I actually lay anything down, I'm going to be using this sort of pane of glass that I have from one of my coffee side table thingies, and I want to lay it down on top of my foam board. Number one, that gives me a good sort of protection layer on that foam board. If I ever want to use it again, I'm not pouring sort of this wet snow mixture that could ruin the board. But also, this gives the effect of almost like a reflective surface underneath, mimicking something like water. So I'm going to be using this to put on top of the board and give it that effect. So you can clearly see here the effect I'm going for with this whole sort of watery reflective look on top of the white background. Now this has changed the white background to sort of like a bluey aqua sort of tinge, which is exactly what I want to go for, because if you look at the watch, get that in focus, this actually has like a bluish tone to it, and that blue will complement really well with that blue right there. Okay, so lighting, let's switch that on. So we want to be at 5600 Kelvin, which is correct. That's your correct daylight sort of temperature of light. And I want to dial the lighting all the way up to 100%. So when I'm lighting my subject down here, I've got as much light as I possibly need. Now, as I mentioned, this is going to be my fill light, and it's going to be positioned almost opposite, slightly off to an angle compared to the main light. And what that will do is it will fill in the opposite side of the product so I don't have any sort of dark shadows. It's instant snow time. Okay, add 1 scoop of snow to a bowl. Got the bowl. Using a small scoop, fill the supplied measuring cup to the top with water. I need water. Ooh, found some water. Is it enough? 70 milliliters. I don't know. Let's find out. 60 milliliters. 60 plus 10. Wonderful. Next, 1 scoop of snow to a bowl. Oh, more than 1 scoop, but that's fine. Dude, look at this. That is freaking amazing! Look! We have snow! So now, what I want to do is just scatter this snow on this glass pane here and then set the watch on top. All of this is set prep. Every single product shoot has it. You can't get away from it. You need to make sure the set is ready before you start shooting. Any little accents that you need to add them now before you start shooting. Now I want to make sure the watch is clean. Before you start shooting, just make sure any smudges and things like that are all cleaned off. I might have a couple of marks on it, but those will sort of fade out in the edit. But make sure there's no marks. You want to present the product in its best light. Wonderful, shiny watch. That's it, perfect. So I switch the light on, and I'm going to use this little one here as an accent light. I'm going to see if I can play around with a few different colors other than white, because I've got enough white light from here and here. I want to use this to see if I can maybe introduce some blue or some other alternate sort of aqua colors. Hey, that's a nice color. Maybe I could do something like that. Okay, sadly it turns out that this light only does white and warm white. Doesn't do any other colors, so screw it. I'll stick with white. Now for this shoot, I'm going to be using a 50mm lens, just so I can get a feel for sort of where the products sit within that focal length, and then I can play around with sort of a 80mm or 100mm. If you have any macro lenses, those will do really well for small products like this. But I'm going to start with the 50mm, see where I go with that, and if I need to adjust or change my focal length, I can do that. Now, rule number 1, when you're photographing anything that has a reflective glass-like surface on it, you want to make sure that you have a circular polarizing filter. What that will do is let the lens see through that reflection. So any lighting that we have around here goes straight through onto the more opaque surface underneath the watch face. Now the one I've got here is made by K&F Concept. I'll link it down in the description below. Any of the equipment, to be honest, that I'm using in this video, I'm going to link in the description below if you guys want to purchase it. The links will be affiliate links, but they help the channel and don't cost you anything extra. So from this point on, it's really down to you and your creative freedom. Experiment with different angles and different shot types, and just bear in mind that, you know, these are product photos, so try and mimic what you'll be traditionally seeing in magazines and online publications. Ultimately, you want these pictures to help you land clients and develop your skill set. But ultimately, have fun with it and experiment with different focal lengths if you want to, and just try and develop your style. So that's about it, guys. That covers my entire workflow for creating a product shoot at home, from set design to lighting to shooting the actual product and setting the scene as well. So I hope you guys learned something out of this. I definitely did. Every single time I create something new, it's another learning curve for me. So we're all in this together. Let's keep creating, and if you guys do any of this, hit me up, show me what you created, and I'd love to see your work. Until then, I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.